Thanks, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I speak first to my community because I know they're watching and I know they're very concerned. Those have already, those concerns, I echo the concerns of other councillors in the suburbs, particularly north of the 401. People are very concerned about this, and the report is laid out in a very confusing way. I have watched the Chair of Planning and Housing tie himself up in knots this week trying to make clear what is going on here to the councillors in this chamber. And that shouldn't be the case. But the motion that is before us now does give me a reason why I just voted against referring this back. The comprehensive review and the consultation that is contemplated in the replacement recommendations here now has to happen urgently, urgently. I don't want to give them any reason to slow down on that because everyone's live to the issue now. So we need to adopt these replacement recommendations to make sure that that happens. At the same time, I can't agree with my colleague, the Deputy Mayor. I got to vote for number 1 too, because I also have to flag for the government. We're serious about this. We do understand that you need to understand we're getting rid of what, to be honest, we don't have a lot of experience with avenue studies in the suburbs. Downtown, I watched councillor after councillor over the last 20 years put their road on the avenue study list just to buy some time. If I put this on a list that we're never going to get through because we don't have enough planners to do avenue studies, I can kick back for 5 years now and nothing will happen on this street. What the federal government needs now, and let's say it, I dare say the province needs it as well. If Toronto has a housing crisis, the province has a housing crisis, and the nation has a housing crisis. That's why they're putting this pressure on us. So we need to flag for them. We're not leaving that avenue study diversionary excuse tactic in place. We are agreeing that that is no longer a practice, but we do have to do this comprehensive review to make clear to the community what will be our practices. That's avenue studies, and I need that. I'm actually in my ward, I actually started canvassing for names last week, putting together a reference group and creating a base of knowledge so that when these good people come to my ward to have this consultation, they'll be speaking to people with a bit of a 101 and ready to reflect their concerns, get all of the concerns on the table and the questions, and hopefully we can have a really grown-up conversation and figure out what to do. I want that to proceed. That's why I'm adopting that. I asked the Mura question because one of my colleagues just said, this isn't the only way to solve it. I believe it was the Deputy Mayor. She's right. But we had people coming forward and saying, what about Mura? You're not doing anything to absorb some of those buildings where we could be dealing with some of our affordability issues through that acquisition program. It's confusing to understand, but those dollars are there. That is one of the options, and by adopting that today, it's another way you're flagging for other orders of government that we're doing everything we can. And last but not least, Madam Speaker, to Councillor Myers' pilot. I asked my questions about a live situation going on in one of my wards right now, because we're entering into a new realm here. And this will come up in the consultations. If as of right means that when I hear something is happening in my ward that brings density, and I go downstairs to the counter or I send my team member down to the counter and I'm told that's none of your business, you can FOI it and it will cost you $60, that's not going to fly. That's a new culture we're going to have to build at the building official's desk. You can't say to someone that we're going from a single family dwelling and be it 4-plex or 6-plex, that I'm actually going to go from 3 bedrooms to 24 bedrooms. And if we're honest, it's really 31 bedrooms because it also includes a 3-bedroom garden suite and living rooms that curiously have closets and bathrooms. Then we have to give pause, and there has to be some form of bump up to deal with that issue. Because I don't think any of us contemplated that these 4-plexes would include 6 bedrooms each. So there has to be a way for the community to say, pump the brakes, pump the brakes. There has to be a pump the brakes option in as of right. There just has to be. And so, Madam Speaker, I'm getting in this boat right now. But on the commitment that all of these motions taken together Give me something to take back to my community and say, we're pumping the brakes on the things that raised your blood pressure last week. We're going to resolve some of these issues, but we do have to address our housing crisis. And that's a change we're going to have to figure out how we manage in the Don Valley North context. Thank you, Madam Speaker.